So Radian6 is a software solution that customers can use over the internet and basically allows them to listen, analyze, and engage in conversations about their brand online. Hi, I'm Marcel Lebrun. I'm the CEO of Radian6. Well, really, our founder, Chris Newton, who's an inventor type, started to observe how his own means to discover information was changing. Instead of discovering things through television or through ads, he was finding that news and ideas were finding him through his network of contacts, and more of that was moving toward an online world, and you end up finding that when you do engage in mainstream media that you already heard about this somewhere else. So he started to look at that, and also the massive growth of social media. You know, there's over 200 million blogs now, and you look at Facebook, and if it were a country, I think it would be the 5th largest country in the world in terms of the size of that community. So you look at the vast volume of ideas and really saw the opportunity to say, okay, now brands are going to need a way to take all of this data, all of the conversations and all of the metrics, and turn it into something meaningful to my business, and really set out to solve that problem. We've had almost 100% quarter-over-quarter growth in our customer base and our revenues since we started the company. We reached even our point of profitability almost a year and a half before we set out to do that. So it's been a real rocket ship growth for us, and in a recession economy on top of that. So we're seeing brands put dollars into social media. It actually is very cost effective compared to more expensive advertising. On the agency side, we work with some of the largest global PR and interactive marketing agencies, firms like Ogilvy PR and Weber Shandwick, and really almost all the firms in the Interpublic group, real social media, digital-oriented firms like Edelman. In terms of companies, we work with brands like Comcast, Dell, UPS, Intuit, Microsoft, that are all building, you know, listening and engagement programs inside their companies.
I think what's different about what we're doing is, you know, for us and our customers, we live in the world of social media. Hey, I'm Chris Ramsey, VP of Business Development for Radian6. Our customers in particular are looking at how to take social media and make it part of their marketing programs, their advertising programs, their customer service programs. The thing about social media and enterprises using it as in their business processes is it's literally being invented as we go. So it's changing every day, it's changing every week. There's a new best practice, you know, every month, and all of a sudden everyone's looking to that as a new way of doing things. So how the market research process really differs is it's incredibly compressed. So things are changing every day. You don't have time to come up with a research plan and then you know, go ahead and schedule out, you know, all your scheduled milestones for that plan, and then execute on that plan, and then that just totally breaks down. Like, we release a new product release every week to 2 weeks, so you just don't have time to go through that very structured, rigid process of, you know, bringing an agency in to do surveys with a sampling of customers and things like that. Our method is we're always listening. We're always listening to what's going on out on the internet, in the conversations, in the forums, on YouTube, in the commenting behavior, on Twitter, on FriendFeed, on Facebook. It's like this great big global live survey that's running 24/7, and you can tap it anytime you want to get any question answered you need to get answered for your market research. Sometimes you're just monitoring for feedback on your own service. Other times you're monitoring for competitive landscape information and competitive intel. That's all part of the market research process. Other times you have very specific things you're looking for. Okay, so if you take Super Bowl ads on TV. So PepsiCo had some really cool Super Bowl ads, and what they used this new market research process for, and this listening platform, was first to tap into the community and hear what they had to say and understand what they had to say about the Super Bowl commercials from last year and what they were hoping to see this year and the things they were talking about around the Super Bowl. So first they used it to tap those people and actually start gathering that information. The second part of it is to actually go out and engage with these people, right? So that's another part of this process that really works well. Is it's not just a survey where you get the results and you go through it. When you see someone who's talking about, you know, the Super Bowl commercials from last year and they've got 1,000 people commenting every time they blog, the market research person at Pepsi wants to go talk to that person and connect with them and just get them on the phone for 15 minutes. That's all it takes, right? So, you know, that's an example of how, you know, they did the market research to prepare for the Super Bowl commercials and the Super Bowl ads. And then during the actual Super Bowl, they were tracking, using this market research process, they were actually tracking what people were saying about the commercials and about their competitors' commercials while they were airing, and they were actually jumping in and becoming parts of those conversations. Real-time market research during the campaign to continue to tweak that campaign while it was in flight. There's always new ways that you need to be able to filter the data. The deeper you get into tapping these conversations, like for example, you know, you get this big blast of 10,000 posts and comments and tweets coming in. You know, you may want to just listen for what people are saying positively about your brand and your messages and your campaigns. Or you may want to listen for just what people are saying that's negative about your brand or your product or your campaigns or your competitors. So you want to be able to filter on what's the tonality of what people are saying. So that's one area. You know, another area is the media channels that people are using to express their opinions. So, you know, if you look at people who are writing blogs, in a lot of cases, you know, a blog post has had much more energy and thought put into it than a 140-character tweet. So sometimes you get into these situations where you just want to tap the blogs versus you just want to tap the tweets. You know, we have customers that need to be able to filter it by language, and then you can start going, okay, show me Europe, show me United States, show me Spanish, show me French, show me Italian, show me blogs, show me Twitter, show me just the negative stuff on Twitter, things like that. So those are all the types of things our customers need to be able to do in their market research efforts. And you know, we keep adding more and more ways to actually filter and segment that down to give you exactly what you need.